So franchise versus independent when it comes to marketing. We're gonna break that down. Hi, you guys. My name is Brad Cajusa, lead Juice Home Care Growth, and we're gonna go into it, right? So we're gonna look at franchise versus independent marketing and the differences. Because you may have a independent agency, and you see somebody else running a home care franchise. You guys are not playing the exact same game. You guys can't think like that. So same industry, yes, but the advantages are completely different. The problems are different. The speed is different. The rules are different. So I'm going to break that down for you. Let's go. Everyone's playing the same game when it comes to marketing. Independent agencies and franchises are doing the same thing that I see. Right? You shouldn't be doing that. This is what I see. Franchise owners are frustrated because they feel boxed in when it comes to corporate rules, and then independent agencies are copying those franchises. You can't copy like if you're an independent agency, you can't copy those franchises because yeah, you might think they look good, from your eyes because you're agency owner, but they don't feel local, right? They feel corporate. So you can't play the same game. You got to lean into the freedom that you have because those franchises they don't have freedom. They're handcuffed, less flexibility when it comes to those franchise owners. It's not bad, right? We're gonna go into it, right? What gets the franchise? We'll go into the next slide, but it's not bad. It's just different strategies, and you got to remember that. So, what does a franchise get? What you get a head start. You get a known brand name. You get a website. You get a landing page, a marketing kit. You get approved ad templates. You get a protected territory, or may not, right? And that's valuable when you're starting from zero. Really valuable. The brand already has trust, material, systems, which we always talk about here, right? But the trade-off is you're handcuffed. When you want to be able to move quicker, when you want to be able to move fast, because speed is important. We'll get into it. Speed is important in this industry. You got to wait for corporate approval. All right. The where franchises get stuck. Your site looks like 400 others. Google can't tell you apart. Google's like, all right, is this guy in Alpharetta or is this guy in Dunwoody? You know? So once you understand that, it's a little bit difficult. And also when it comes to those franchises, they have to lean in a little bit more local in their content, the way they produce content. And that approval can take weeks from the corporate. You sound like every other location. So if you look like everybody else, you are everybody else. What does an independent agency get? Right? They get full control. They're able to move fast, change fast, no royalties, as opposed to the franchises that do pay royalties on every dollar. You keep all the money, zero name recognition. So that's the thing, right? So you're starting from zero. But hey, let's do it. We're in this business when it comes to franchising or independent agency. You want to be in this business long term. So let's do it. So you have the freedom when it comes to independence, but you have to build everything from scratch. Zero shortcuts. Where do independent agencies get stuck? They use the same tagline: family owned, compassionate care, right? Same tagline. DIY websites with stock photos. I always use this example. I'm auditing a website in Florida, in South Florida. It could be any website, and I see the photos, and it's like photos of mountains. Like we have no mountains here in South Florida. Where are you getting these mountains? Like the family, they see that. Yes, they're stressed, right? They want your help. But when they go on your website or they see your content, it's just like stock photos. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel authentic. Okay, so you guys have to stop with those stock photos if you can. No systems, no follow-ups. The owner's doing everything, and because there's no systems, the agency's depending on the owner's energy every single day. So freedom without systems is just chaos. And let's look into the five marketing differences that actually decide who wins the client. The first one is local SEO, right? The second one is ad creative. And what is ad creative? It's pretty much the image when you're running Facebook ads, the creative that the person sees. That's that's ad creative, just so if you don't know. You got the lead channel, you got brand voice, and then you got speed of execution. These are the areas where franchise owners and independent owners need different strategies. If you misunderstand any of these five, you're wasting money. All right. The franchise owner has to fight corporate sameness, and the independent owner has to fight being obscure. So, different problems, different playbooks. You guys can't run the same marketing strategies. So, now let's start with the first one, local SEO. So, for franchises, those templates that you have on your websites is hurting your ranking because, like I said before, if you have a home care agency franchise in Duluth and you have somebody else in Buford, like locals, like Google SEO or Google's a little bit confused. They're like, "What's going on?" Like they don't know who to show up to. They don't know how to rank them because they're a little bit confused on. It's the same franchise, the same company, so to say, but different locations. So that hurts your ranking. You got to build lead content yourself, the local content yourself. All right. Google business profile. That's your weapon. So that means you have to focus on your reviews. You have to focus on your local photos, your city pages if you can do that, if they let you do that, and your local content matters. Excuse me. All right. And when it comes to independent, when it comes to local SEO, you build custom local pages. A custom site gives you an edge. If you serve different areas, right? Let's say I'm in South Florida or Southwest Florida. Let's say I'm in South Florida. We have, you know, Hollywood. You have if you service these areas, you have Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale, Sunrise. You got to have different pages. West Palm, different pages for different cities that you service. It's way easier to rank when it comes to local SEO for independent agencies, and you can move fast. But you actually have to post your content. You have to do the work. Okay. The next thing is the ad creative. So when it comes to franchises, you only get corporate approved ads. And franchises weeks for sign off when it comes to your ad if you want to change something. Okay. And then also the image may need approval. The wording may need approval. You can't test as fast as you would like. And you already know speed is really important in this industry. Like I said, independent, you can launch ads tonight. You can test anything you want. You can change your headline tomorrow if you want. You can outpace any franchise locally, but you got to put in the work. And speed beats brand that I see in every market. Every local market, the speed beats the brand because you can move how you like. And you already know in marketing, what we talk about here is, it's pretty much just testing. You got to be able to test, you got to be able to learn, and you got to be able to improve fast. If I'm an independent agency, I can do those things a lot easier and a little bit more effective than the franchise. So don't waste it. If you are an independent agency, speed is your biggest advantage. All right, let's talk about lead channels. So when it comes to lead channels, this is a big one. Franchises, they get corporate leads. They may use approved vendors. They may pay into certain programs like pay per lead programs. You're paying royalty on every dollar, right? You don't control the data. You may not control the funnel. You may not control the customer journey when they come into your lead channels, right? You may not have those things, and it's really important. Franchises usually are renting leads. When it comes to independent, you build your own lead engine. You keep 100% of it. You pick any channel that you want. Right? You own the website. You own the Google profile. You own the follow-up process. You own the referral system. That is a long-term advantage. So lean into that. And This is exactly where my company Lead Juice comes in. We help home care agencies get more leads depending on, your goals, how you want to get your leads. If you're making a certain amount of money, we can help you with your Google leads, build systems for you, work on your referral leads, your referral list. So a system with Google, websites, referrals, intake, follow up, and tracking, which is really important. You got to be able to track where your leads are coming from so you can double down. All right. Brand voice and speed. You got to sound human and move faster. So brand voice is a major difference. For those franchises, they use stock images, stock tone. For the independents, they use their own voice. They have their own audience. And also the execution speed. Like I said, franchises, they have to approve everywhere. And independent, you decide what you want to do and you can do it today. The faster you move, the faster you grow. Who wins where? So franchises win at trust on day one. They have systems and they have multi-market growth. Independents win at local domination, speed and margin, and owning the asset. So you decide which one is important to you if you're deciding on, or if you're not deciding. But now you know when it comes to if you have a franchise or independent, where your advantages are or your disadvantages are. Different game, different playbook. Pick yours and run it. All right. So if you want us to build your playbook for you, if you have a franchise or independent, we run the right play here at Lead Juice. Lead engines, local SEO, ad systems, follow-up systems, you know, intake, follow-up, tracking. We build that for home care agencies. Go to leadjuice.co. If you want a free marketing audit, there's no pressure. Go to leadjuice.co. I'll see you guys in the next video.